All right. Hello, everybody. This is BisuDagger, your host for another hour's worth of StarCraft, if not more. Actually, I'm predicting that we're going to have quite a bit of StarCraft. This could run late today, so hold on to your seatbelts. Hope you guys have brought some snacks and are ready to go. This is going to be quite the exciting day of StarCraft. Man, have you not seen the lineup yet? Have you guys not really checked out Team Liquid? Because then you don't know what you're in for here. We are going to be watching 4 games today, if we can get through them all. It is going to be Last versus Zero, as you can see up in the top left and the top right, the first 2 names available here. And then it's going to be Bisu versus Larva, Flash versus Best, and Mind versus Eyewater. Yes, that's right. Ever since Shuttle won the ASL, he is now officially Eyewater. Per request, that's what he wants the foreign scene to call him. And so we're going to honor his wishes. We have now transitioned from the name Shuttle to the name Eyewater. I'll repeat this again as we continue throughout this cast. Let me give a big shout out to everybody who's donated to my stream. Let me tell you what. There was a donation specifically for Zero, who has been providing these replays to Lamada to give to me. So yes, these are replays from sponsored matches. We are going to be able to see behind the scenes what it looks like for these players, their intimate replays, and we're going to be able to know what Flash, Bisu, Larva, Zero are thinking. It's going to be so cool to actually have our hands on the controller. So not only can I provide you with a great cast for the next hour, but you guys can ask me to pause or look at something in particular. The way we can't put hands on when we're watching already a scripted game from the ASL, and we're just we're slave to the camera in that sense, and how wherever the person who is viewing the game wants to go. But now, because I am the observer, we can watch this however we want. I know you guys are just coming in right now. Again, I just wanted to give one final shout out. Thank you to the donations. If you give me donations and tell me where you want the money to go, I'll donate it to Brood War tournaments. I'll gladly take it for myself. But if you want to donate to Zero a couple dollars to say thank you for these replays, you could go ahead and do that too. So not to burden you guys any longer with those shout outs, let's go ahead and jump into the first game, because I like getting the first game out of the way. Warms me up. And I'm so giddy to start these today. I don't know what it is, but I just have a really good feeling that we are going to see some great games. And if you guys don't know, spread the word. I feel like we can, make the weekly Dagger bigger than it already is. And I get a good amount of views on my VODs on YouTube. And I'm really excited about that. I'm glad that people are able to watch those because they can't catch this live. But do whatever you can do to spread out the word. I want to show consistency here so we can pick up some steam and really take this show to the next level. And we're going to start that by going with Last versus Zero. Like I said earlier, I believe this is going to be, yes, it is on La Mancha. So while you're going to see the 4 spawn positions light up, that's just because of the observer trick that you're going to have to see here. With the command center that's probably going to lift in a second, and some SCVs that are going to be killing themselves off. Okay, so we're going to be looking for a Terran and a Zerg that aren't killing each other. At the top left here, we're going to have Zero, already getting up to 5 drones. Another drone coming on the way, 2 more actually. And then down at the bottom left, it looks like we have found Last. And so that's going to be the way it starts up here. Last actually not performing as well as we expected him to play in the ASL. So I would say that's kind of a disappointment for most Terran players that wanted to see him win the whole thing. But he got knocked out. Incredible series between Last and Eyewater. And unfortunately, he did not make it to that finals. We saw Sharp, and Sharp was nervous. I think if Last made it to the finals, it would have been a little bit more of an interesting finals, just because Last has shown that he's just pretty impervious to the big scene. Oh yes, thank you. That would have been dreadful here, guys. We just started in. Don't sweat the overlay, especially you guys on the VODs. I didn't screw it up too bad. Thank you, Catruz. This is exactly what I do to actually determine whether people are watching this. Because if no one's watching it, then I don't need to show it, right? Okay, So Zero right now, he's got his initial Overlord, and what I've been seeing him do lately in most recent builds is go for that overpull. But in this case, I see that there's a drone coming out here to make the 12 hatch first. And if you watched my foreign edition of the weekly Dagger, Eon Zerg actually went for often the overpull build. He really likes staying on one base, but we're seeing that on the nature of La Mancha. This is a really good, solid opening, especially on a 4-player map, that Zerg can get away with going for 12 hatch. Especially since it's a ZVT, 12 hatch is way more common, unless you want to be cheesy and get Zerglings out, you know, and try and do some pressure early on. Especially without a wall here, actually 9 pull would have worked out well. And the fact that there was a counter-clockwise scout means that the drone immediately identified where last is. But really only the only nuisance that we're going to see here is that this drone is just going to try and do some damage on SCVs. Now only down to 40 health, not too detrimental here. The first Marine already out. Marine's so good early on, they can deny scouting pretty effectively because of their range. It's much more frustrating as a Zerg or a Protoss player try to deny a scout, because you either have to wall off or get really lucky. Lings being too slow, can't stop probes. You know, the whole rigmarole that we've seen. Larva sleeping live on his stream. That's hilarious. Okay, well, hopefully this can be a little bit more entertaining than Larva on his stream. The third hatchery, the macro hatchery, already going down. This is still pretty standard opening so far for Zero, as we see that the extractor is going on. Yeah, so technically, you're right. Larva is not live if he is sleeping on his stream. You know what? I showed my coworkers the GIF of terror where he takes the entire like vat of liquid and throws it on the kids. The one where he got banned for. If you guys haven't seen that GIF, it's absolutely hilarious. But my coworkers, they know that I cast StarCraft, and they're pretty cool nerds themselves. But they don't know too much about StarCraft unless I share the history and all the silly things that are involved in it. And that was one of those great moments today where I was telling them about the spicy noodles that the kids were eating and how Terra got banned from Africa for a little while. It was pretty cool stuff. All right, so the expansion on its way. A couple Marines at the front. This is pretty solid from last. He's getting away with not building a bunker quite yet. You know, just wanting to only get away with Marines and not having to build any static defense to hide these little guys in. Of course, there is an idle SCV not actually mining right now, so no good for him. A little bit of a maintaining of drones down here. The scouting SCV inside this natural, knowing the exact transfer timing here. And the extractor coming down. It's really important to see this extractor here. No sound at all. Let me see. Hold on here. I assume that you guys can hear me. Are the game sounds just too silent? We can fix that here. We can fix that. All right. Let me know if that is better. Sometimes the digital sound is very overwhelming, and so that's why I keep it to a minimum. I can at least hear it now. It is audible. But let me know if you guys want me to knock it up a smidge too. That's not a problem here. Still, we're seeing pretty normal opening. The Spire is going to go down in just a second here. Bam! Spire going up. So it's going to be off these two bases. The Spire going to be coming down. And yeah, no problem. Thank you for watching, Protoys. It's awesome to have you in this in the Twitch chat and to be enjoying the show here, because this is a blast. I've been doing this every Thursday for a couple months now, and I'm really glad that people are starting to figure out that this is here. Okay, the creep colony coming down. Let's see. Is that creep colony worth it? I mean, does it need to be turned into a sunken right now? There's a lot of Marines, but where's the medic situation? If you guys don't know, there's this flash thread that just popped up on Team Liquid, and someone actually translated the VOD that Flash was providing, where he was actually giving instruction on how to play Terran versus Zerg, and he was saying, please, if you just don't know how to play StarCraft really well, go for the 5-racks build, because 5-racks allows you to build a lot of Marines and have a huge army without having to waste too much economy on building turrets. So we're seeing that there's 2 more barracks dropped down right now, and is Last going to be saying, okay, yeah, I agree with Flash, let's go for 5 racks, and that's pretty safe against Mutas, or just 4, because he wants to go for an earlier transition to mech. That's kind of one of the key things that we'll be looking for here is how quickly does Last actually want to get himself to mech. This is a pretty solid bio map, especially if you want to go for SK Terran. Dropships play out effectively here. Of course, because it is a muta build, getting the Science Vessel faster is always nice too to have for a Radiate. Let's take a gander inside of this base. This is probably all mutaless right now. You want to save up about 6 larva so you can get your mutas right away. You're going to have 600 minerals and just dump into it immediately. And so that's the only time at this point in the game where you're going to see, besides 300, the mineral count actually get really high for the Zerg player. So the mutas are now popping out. They're going to make their way across and try and poke and find out where the mutas can get hits off on these Marines. Now, 4 medics is quite a bit. 4 medics is going to be really hard, especially with stim out for these Marines. It's going to be really difficult for Zero to get good muta micro on them. The surface area is really good. They make it solid line. And so eventually Zero's going to say, well, you know, if Last plays this stim game really well with me, I've got to start poking into the base. This stalling here, though, is really nice because it has allowed Last to get a turret at a good position inside of his base here. 2 turrets at the north, but if the mutas dive, they're still going to get hit by another turret. So it's really important to just keep an eye on that. I'm sure in the natural base, let's see if the mutas are going to poke it real quick. First, you see, look at that. Look at that. The Marines are all getting the hits. The mutas aren't getting really good glaive attacks off. And there's not a good area, like high ground or void area that the mutas can micro around. And that's why Zero's trying to bait the Marines over to a location where they can safely hide if they're going to move away from the Marines. And so that's a very difficult to do. Okay, this is big. So there's not just this one group here with 3 medics, but another group here, like a huge production of Marines. So this is a good committed bioforce. Meanwhile, there is a turret at the natural. Only 1 turret here because you can see how many bioforces were built. All off 4 racks. This is actually quite incredible. Off 4 racks, the production and the macro has been phenomenal for Last so far in this game. He's heading towards the right. Why? There's this base up here, the 3rd base location, really important. And these Hydralisks are critical. If you're not familiar with this point of the game, these need to morph in the lurkers to be able to hold this base. And Zero, yeah, he got his lurker upgrade, a lurker aspect upgrade just finished, which means that the plus 10 armor lurker egg is actually going to hold off pretty well right now. But the Muse are going to have to help stall here. Fortunately, I don't know if Last knows, but there's this nice lurker in the back. And if the Marines try and jump on this lurker and run up the ramp, they will get hit by the lurker spines of the high ground here. Okay, so a lot of links in the background. The lurkers getting their spines on the right location here, getting a lot of hits off. Oh man, that was a nice sweep of Marines here, but still a decent amount of medics are going to allow this Marine force to at least combat the mutas one-on-one pretty well. I disagree with those mutas dying like they are there. There's no more bio threat. The lurkers on the high ground are going to be too strong, and the Marines aren't going to be able to make it up there. And even with scans, that's not going to be possible. So you have to go look at the re-macro force of the Terran player Last. Right outside of his natural, he's got a decent amount of Marines. But what's his endgame here? Still, he only made 4 racks, so it feels like not too strong of a commitment. The engineering bay isn't constantly researching, which means that these are going to be relatively weak mid-game Marines. And that Flash VOD I was alluding to, Flash was saying that you only need 1 engineering bay because you get the engineering bay so early. As long as you continue to start those upgrades, you're going to have pretty well upgraded Marines. But you only need +1 range stim Marines at this point in the game. That is the most economical and reasonable force that you can have, all these poor medics going down. And so not much else that Last can do because he is going to be planning out a pretty quick 3rd here. Flash also recommended that you put Marines with your base in case there were Ling backstab run-bys. In this case, because there's so much map control, and Last is very, very aware that where the Lings are. Okay, here's this backstab force here that could actually go down to the 3rd base. But I think Last is applying so much pressure to the natural that he's not really worried about that 6 o'clock base. That could be a mistake. Oh, look at that. The whole lurkers on there actually doing a great job picking up a few Marines. These tanks are actually critical here. If the tanks get picked off, it's going to slow down this next bio slash mech push that is coming out for Last, trying to make his way up towards the north base. I gotta apologize because I didn't see the factory here, but the factory's on the low ground. Obviously when you scan the main, you're like, oh, this looks like the Terran player's not really doing squat. But yeah, the mech forces are on the way. Starport's already finished up. And oh, look at that. The Marines actually already stemmed up into this base. The tanks are on the high ground too. And this is going to be extremely difficult. This hatchery is definitely going to go down. Here's the key thing. There weren't lurkers to defend on their... Oh, wow. He actually kept it alive. This is really huge. So, you know what? If the Marines killed off this hatchery, it would have been a big deal. Because what Zero's trying to hold out for is Hive to complete. Hive has just now completed, and Nidus canals can be constructed at this point in the game. And it's really important that you're able to hold this hatchery with what little forces you have until the Nidus canal can come out. I'm wondering when he's actually going to start building it. Probably will pop up around there or around here. And, oh, look at this. Another re-macro forces coming up towards the north. But it looks like the Marines, or not the Marines, the Vultures now are going to be the mainstay of this transition. It's important that the Vultures, the really economical units, only using minerals, can allow these spider mines to spread out across the map and get all the easy pickings of lings that are running by and not scouting out really well using detection to determine that they're just about to suicide a whole platoon of lings into these spider mines. But look at that. You see the spider mines. Oh, they go off the friendly fire. That was beautiful. I think you can all appreciate how awesome it was that those spider mines got pulled into the Marines. More Vultures trying to do exactly what I said. Got to spread these spider mines out really fast. I think that's where you're going to see the Overlord upgrade, if not completed, is really important that it gets worked on, because you want to be able to detect those and bring Overlords with your army instead of having to slow that army down. Zerg is all about mobility, and so that's what you'd expect to see. Still, you see the +1, that's not going to be going any further. I'd love to see where the armory is inside this base. So, with the armory, the +1 weapon upgrades, I'm sure we'll find a Vulture around here somewhere. Yeah, so that's only +1 right now. I'd be surprised if the armory had the +2 going already. Okay, so between the lurkers and the mutas, and then go ahead and look, this is where I called it. The Nidus Canal up at the top left-hand corner here is going to allow the Zerg to reinforce pretty quickly if need be. I like this, a Dark Swarm just to get these lurkers in the right position. And the Scourge coming out too. Oh, nice little shot there. Last, that was a little bit lazy by him. Not having his Science Vessels back and his Marines not in a good location to help keep and defend them. You know, I want you to look. Here's the dropship. So this transition and getting the starport, and especially once you're done building a certain amount of Science Vessels, you want to get a dropship or two because you can get away with these Vulture drops, and they can be very, very costly. Picking off these drones is going to be huge here. Only a couple on the gas so far, and it's going to be all about, can Zero bring lings to kill off these Vultures, because those are the only units he's going to have. Here come the lings to bring up into this main base. Another macro hatchery going to be coming down here too. Okay, so I imagine that lings coming out of these eggs were the ones that did finish cleaning up that force. Meanwhile, it's going to be Vultures down here. Marines running around. Once these Marines are cleaned up, though, you don't have to worry about them. And random science facility floating around the map. I do love that. Meanwhile, another base coming down here. Look at all these mutas. So this is actually a huge deal now, because the muta force has been is made significantly stronger in the mid game by the fact that the bio forces frankly aren't there. The science vessels are out of position, and you need Goliaths to supplement this mech force, or you just need a lot of energy on your science vessels and to not lose them. Here comes a potential Irradiate here. Now this is a great Irradiate. Actually getting a lot of damage off on that one Mutalist that was just nearby. Irradiate does so much damage to Mutaflox here, and it seems like the forces have been mitigated pretty well at this point. This Bioforce with these medics just managing to do everything it can in this game. Meanwhile, this looks like the command center built a little bit further away. Maybe a couple pixels off. That could be picky of me. Anyway, mass expanding, trying to split the map, take the bottom right, and it looks like Last is going to put himself in the lead of this game if he can establish this base over at the right. Why? Because there's not a 5th gas being taken. 4 gas only takes you so long in a mech TVZ. So it's going to be really important that Zero does manage to identify where does he want to take a 5th base so he can get that additional gas. Right now, he is going to be playing pretty economical off these bases, of course. And look at this. I love this. The Scourge right there, ready to pick off the dropship. And so only 2 Vultures getting inside the base. The Mutas should be able to pick them off pretty safely. The Lings coming in here too to get the attention of these weapons out of the way here. Not taking too much damage for these Vultures. What is that? 1, 2 drones that got killed off? So I'm sure that Zero would be happy to accept those losses here. So all the barracks are getting lifted off. They're no longer needed. You got to create a ton of space here. That is the bane of the existence for Terran players. You're always having to create all this extra space, especially when your buildings become non-relevant. So they'll just kind of be scooted out of there. Meanwhile, I love this. How many factories are coming up from last? I mean, this is insane. 1, 2, let's go back here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 factories transition to right now, and what is Zero doing about this? Look at this. His force doesn't look very strong. In fact, he's only at 91 supply, and even though he did build, you know, a couple extra macro hatcheries, he's really been behind. One that vulture drop into this space, it killed off a good amount of drones, and Last just really forced a lot of military units to deal with him early on in this game. I'm trying to figure out where Last is, you know, most importantly, finding his army to be. Because it seems like he's just not on the map. He's turtling up really hard right now. I love this, though. You can see that he is controlling the right side of the map with so little forces. It's really silly here. And I'm just wondering what Zero's doing about this game. He's basically taking his foot off the pedal. He's playing super passive, and this is the kind of TVZ we saw out of Zero last week. If you watch my games there that I casted, I believe it was him, not versus Ruby. Who did he play? I can't even remember. I'm having a brain lapse right now, but you know, it was just really unfortunate. Zero playing a pretty bad game then too. Oh, a nice little kill off there with those spider mines, and look at this. The Goliaths with their range picking off these mutas are getting at least some damage off on them, and the mech forces are just getting a really nice line here. I love that Last is using the high ground with these 2 tanks here and putting himself in a really good position, and then he's guarding the ramp at a location where it's going to be really hard for the Zerg forces to kind of wrap around this bend here. Meanwhile, it looks like cleanup duties coming down here with these lings, trying to get some more of these spider mines to go off, but it's not going to happen. Meanwhile, all these science vessels here make me think that the magic eraser might happen very shortly here. Meanwhile, this push is actually going to be pretty scary. The Scourge got to be on fire here. They need to be able to pick off these science vessels. Getting this science vessel count down is absolutely critical. Every Terran player can win as long as their science vessel count does not get dwindled. Only at 4 right now, so every single science vessel is going to be even more critical than ever. And, of course, you see those Scourge did not go through very well. Getting taken out. Oh, look at that spider mine killing off those units over there. Meanwhile, the Defiler is getting irradiated, and it's going to go down. Look at this base. So this base was trying to be taken here. It ends up getting killed off. And so no more hatchery at the 12 o'clock location too. And it's just been complete denial. Meanwhile, oh my god, look at this. 31 Mutalisks. The transition is real. The Zero being super passive here has completely transitioned to a massive air game. But he's got to have great irradiate splits because 4 science vessels could kill this army off very quickly. Wow. We're going to see like an old school like Zerg versus Boxer level game here in a second. It's going to have to be all Goliaths. Let's go look at the factories real quick. Goliath, 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 Goliath. Okay. All right. You guys heard enough. The Muta's heading down here towards the 6 o'clock base here. As Zero is making it in, he's going to be getting lots of kills off. This is a good, healthy base. So being able to pick these units off. Look at that split too. Oh no, he's got to get that one out. He's no, it's sitting inside there, Zero. Oh, that was a really bad split. Again, I told you these irradiates just absolutely brutal here. They're just patterning up these Mutalisks, getting prepared for the Goliaths to come in there and beat them down. Still, the forces are pretty strong though. We were at 36, but now it's down to 19. It's so hard to control these so well. But look at this. If he could pick up these mutas, or if he could pick up these science vessels, it would be huge. The mutas flying away from the turrets. I love that this is basically a massive turret defense right now for Last. And he's actually identified a base that has been built over here at the right side. Meanwhile, I think that, no, not a base quite yet. Just a denial location for the Terran player at the left side here. Even the drone coming over here to help this out. We got to keep an eye on everything that's going on. It looks like the Overlord's getting picked off inside the map too. And Subdu's trying to pick off a worthless barracks. That will go down. The burning is real. Feel the burn. All right, moving up. That's not relevant anymore, is it? The Muta's getting right back into their flock again. Up to 16 in this flock. And what are we going to see transitioning out? almost 30 lings right now. Is Ultralisk on the way? We have the cavern. The upgrade is on the way for the shields here, so that's gonna the carapace, I guess, if you want to be correct here, is just gonna pay off in dividends once the Ultralisks are ready to come out. Oh my God! This is killing Zero. This is killing him. These irradiates are sick. So now he's down to 8 Mutalisks from 36, and everybody who's a Zerg fan is just weeping right now, wondering what is going on, man. It looked like he had this opportunity. I think he should have just gone straight for the main base and killed off those factories, so the re-macro of Goliath here wouldn't have been so readily available. This is like watching a PvT at this point versus carriers. The Scourge! The Scourge! Oh my God! And they're just missing it. The control for Zero not doing well right now, as Last is just out of control. And this is not looking like the Matrix 3, because it looks like the humans are actually winning the battle in this case with their mech units. Alright, so this base is going to go down one more time. Oh, wow. Last is just playing on fire right now. He's going to be able to retake this base. The Lings, actually, Lings are a pretty good unit here. If there's nothing else, the Lings could take down Goliath pretty quickly with their Max Hive upgrades. Oh, that poor drone, too. Okay, so the upgrades are finished. Ultralisks are going to be coming out soon here. How many Ultralisks are going to come out on the map? We already have 3 that are completed. The transition is real, everybody. Get ready as the cows go crazy. Still these tanks on the high ground. 12 kills already. I mean, this is just a masterful position here for the Master Sergeant Siege tank. That one coming in. It's just a level 0, of course, here. So the command center is coming up on the left side, too. Last not able to take this base over here. In fact, the Goliaths leaving that position has opened up opportunity for a hatchery to come down here, but there's so many Goliaths, 2 upgrades, and it's just getting silly for him. These bases have been mining for quite a while now, but look inside. The main base about to run out of minerals here. The natural has completely run out of minerals, so we're looking at 3 bases worth of minerals versus a very economical 4 bases still. What you have to do... Oh, that was a slaughter! Look at that Spider-Man going down. Absolutely crazy here again. Wait, no! Our tanks, did he move them? Did he move the great siege tank, or did he end up losing them? The Ultralisk coming out here too. Look at these irradiates. This is crazy. This is what I was talking about earlier in the game. The science vessels are going to pay off crazy amounts of damage here, and it looks like Zero can't move in again. Last playing so well. The Dark Swarm though, the Lurkers, going to keep this mech force back just a little bit longer here. Can he hold on to this base? Can he really sneak this in? It looks like another poking to see if there's going to be a hatchery here, but no, just remnants of the old hatchery that did not get canceled in time. Okay, so these siege tanks are using their wonderful range here. They're going to try and engage again, but I hate that he's not engaging down here with his Dark Swarm. He's trying to pick off the tanks from the north, though, and he does manage to take them down. Okay, so looking at this, there's still 8 Ultralisks on the field. Where's the rest of these Ultralisks? Meanwhile, is there something in here? Is there something in here? This looks like a crafty group of overlords, but they're not doing anything. All right, we're going to have to just assume that Zero's not up to anything now. He's just kind of maybe going for a Terran scare here. And oh, GG! We knew that was a long time coming, but I don't like to just talk about the end of someone's death. All right. That's game number 1. We've got 3 more to go, and I'm just gonna take a short little break. Please don't disappear. I promise you. And let me prepare for the next one here. And yeah, hang out just 1 second. We'll get game number 2 on the way. All right, that's it. That's all the break I need. I just needed a couple drinks, you know, make a bunch of grunting noises that you didn't want to hear on the microphone, and now I am ready. Got all the grunts out. Ho, 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 ho. Anybody a big fan of Home Improvement? Man, I must be old. Okay, Bisu versus Larva is going to be coming up right now. Hope you guys are excited to go into this game. Man, I haven't watched a fresh, new Bisu game in so long. Oh, I am BisuDagger. I require my fix. Let's get the game ready. Let's get the injections. That I didn't want that to look like an obscene symbol on the screen. I apologize if you felt offended by that last one. All right, let's go ahead and click this before I get myself in any more trouble here. Oh boy. Oh boy, a 3-player map. Are you guys ready for this? Are you ready? Let me go ahead and shout out the rest of the games you're going to see today. You're on Neo Aztec right away. That's the map you're looking at. But later we're going to have Flash versus Best on Fighting Spirit. And then we're going to have Mind versus Eyewater on Circuit Breaker. Okay? Calm your horses. We'll get to them. But right now we've got to watch Bisu, my favorite player of all time. Hands down. You can't compare. And then we're going to be... And, of course, he's going to be playing against his ex-SKT teammate, Larva. So those of you who don't follow... And let's actually find their positions here. So Larva is going to be spawning at the bottom right here. Meanwhile, at the top in the middle, it's going to be Bisu. If you guys don't know, I have a very, very interesting fact. And this is all rumor, of course. But it looks like Pro League for StarCraft 2 might not exist next season. It seems that KT and SKT might have officially pulled out of the StarCraft 2 gaming world. I wonder where Kespa's going to go from here. But the really, really good news, KT was sponsoring the Africa Star League. Maybe they're going to get back to their roots. Maybe they're going to bring KT back to Brood War and put all their money where we want it to go. So that's important to identify here. And if KT comes back, then SKT is going to come back. Hands down, that's the way it's got to happen. And we're watching 2 SKT players here who are really good. Larva gets great results. He qualifies for all these big tournaments. Doesn't make it past the group stages so much, but he's awesome. And we love him. And he makes a really, really good booth girl. And for those of you who don't know, Sonic Ranking Tournament, I believe number 9, Larva substituted as a star girl and wore a blonde wig and went into the booths to just be hilarious. Okay. Oh, man, I missed the Sonic times because it was really laid back. It was a completely different atmosphere than Kespa, where everybody just kind of felt like they were on thin ice at all times. Oh, my God, I wrote an extra G. Oh, my God, I hit too many P's. And my please pause. Oh, well, I guess you lose the game. And where's the humanity in this? So we're going to have this opening here. The hatchery already down. The spawning pool on the way. And the extractor... timing pretty solid too. Standard PVZ opening for Larva. Okay, the photon cannon at the front. Bisu hasn't scouted. Oh, he just scouted out. He just scouted out. And he's going to come in here and he's going to go, okay, how quickly is this spawning pool going to get finished? I believe that Bisu is going to see this spawning pool pop and not need to build another cannon. But, of course... yeah, he can cover this. He only needs 1 cannon, so that's where he's going to stop, and that's what you want to look at. Peter the Great says, I hope Larva wins. What is wrong with you? You really want to start this? Why wouldn't you want a Zerg to win? First of all, and Bisu, we hardly get to watch his replays. We finally get a Bisu rep. We want Bisu to utterly destroy anyone we see. And this is just pure silly, but whatever. You have your opinions, I have mine. I love that Larva is going for a really fast 3rd hatchery across the base. So now we've got to start thinking, are your hairs raised like mine? Yes, I think so. What is this hatchery doing out here? You know, this is a PVZ. Level set yourself. And guys, I work with a company that uses a lot of buzzwords. So if I use buzzwords when I talk like level setting, you know, I apologize in advance. Please forgive me. Meanwhile, this hatchery is going to be completed very shortly. It's just one extractor, Are we going to see a pretty fast Hydralisk den? That's the question that we just got to keep an eye out for. Just the Overlord sending the, itself over to this base. Let me see if I can fix these colors too. For me, who has difficulty with colors, I think that this is a better color situation here. So Bisu will now be yellow, of course. I think that's yellow is like the most fitting Protoss color anyway. And so I'm really glad that we've got this set up here now. So speed on the way. It's going to be Spire. And I think that this is just kind of the red herring hatchery right now because Spire play is on the way. But there's no extractor here. So I feel like it's still not going to be Mutaplay. Oh man, what are we watching for? Meanwhile, a Zealot is already over here to harass this base. The drone does go down. And this is going to be some trouble for Larva, who's going to have to deal with Bisu's one Zealot pressure here. I'm liking this. He still has one Zealot at the back here. He's already going for a pretty fast +1, and he pulls the probes right on time. But this is what Bisu's really weak to. This is what we saw in the Kondu Stars League. If you watch that tournament where he actually got eliminated or actually faced defeat against Zerg players. So it was before Kondu, I actually think, where he was losing to Larva and several of his best of 5 series games purely because Lings were running through and doing this same sort of thing we're seeing here. I mean, this is madness. Larva is going to get a lot of economical damage even if he doesn't kill off probes purely because Bisu's going to have to keep doing the probe drill. He's going to have to pull them off effectively here. We saw 2 probes going down there so far, so this is great for Larva, who's playing a phenomenal early game here. The Zealot's got to come in and clean this up, and that menacing attack is going to persist. Meanwhile, yeah, +1's going to be done soon. Bisu Corsairs are very dangerous here. No kills on this Corsair yet, which means that he didn't find an Overlord to pick off. And the Zealot was brought back. So this Linged counterattack has worked out really well. Looking inside this base, you can see that they're still going on here. And Bisu's actually forced himself to build a Photon Cannon just to deal with this. And I wonder if he's going to kill off the Photon Cannon. I think it's a really good static building to have anyway, because if mutas do poke in and you don't have an Archon or a High Templar or some Dragoons nearby, it's nice to at least have the cannons. Plus, you want the cannon at each base to pick off Scourge if the Scourge are going to chase the Corsairs inside the Protoss main or natural. So now we've got all that figured out and out of the way. Meanwhile, Larva, what a baller, is actually going for another expansion here. Going to be up to 4 bases. This is, if you're looking, just the Observer Command Center down at the bottom left. Let's just establish that now in case you guys are just coming in. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. If you're just joining now, I am BisuDagger. We're watching the weekly number 6 Korean edition. On Tuesdays is the foreign edition. I just started to add that in. Every Tuesday you can watch foreign replays. I probably watched one of my favorite PVZs of all time on Tuesday. If you missed that VOD, it is with Eon Zerg and Arc Neon, and it literally has every unit you could think of. I'm not kidding. Arbiters in a PVZ. It was just Guardians. It was insane. So just please, if you have an opportunity to support the foreign scene, go back and watch Tuesday's VOD later. It will be well worth your hour. I'm not kidding. It was a long game. Maybe not an hour, but it was epic. It reminded me of Stork versus Great, if you guys are a big fan of that game. Because, oh my god, yeah, that was crazy. It had the carriers and the recalls. These Lings trying to find the right location to attack into. A decent amount of Corsairs are out here. And let's just focus on what Bisu could do inside of this base. There's no Overlords here. Let's hunt the Overlords. The Overlords aren't at this base either. And I love that Larva built this Spore Colony. Because sometimes you see that Protoss will do too much damage. And you need that Spore Colony here to just kind of deter these Corsairs. And Scourge are looking for a quick pick off here too. 4 of them. 4 of them. So you got to keep an eye out here. And it's going to come down to some pretty nice micro. Oh, he's going to lose one of those Scourge. 3-1 though. 3-1, and that was a great trade right there. I think Bisu will happily have lost 1 Corsair to take out 4 Scourge. I mean, that's 100 gas right there that's been lost. Okay, so we have the Carapace upgrade on its way. Drones are managing down to this base right here, which would be the main base of the 3rd spawn location here. Bisu's got his Corsairs, and he's wondering, where's all the Overlords? The Overlords camped around these Spore Colonies here. They're going to be able to pick off one pretty quickly here. He does manage to keep that one alive, actually, not taking too much health damage either. And when you have enough of these, the Spores just aren't enough. Larva here, he did get his Hydralisk dead. He doesn't have speed though, so the Hydras really aren't too proficient at hunting down the Corsairs at this point. Meanwhile, you can see that with the range or the speed done, the range upgrade is on its way. Look inside the base here. 3 gateways inside the main. The speed on the Zealots is really, really late. Not that it's like a bad thing. Bisu's been very active with his Corsairs first and delaying gas for ground units second here. But because he went for Reavers, that's why he doesn't have speed and +1 done yet. And I think that should have been a big tell for Larva, who would have expected to see that forge spinning much earlier on here. Here, Bisu trying to do his huge Bisu level micro here, and the Reaver getting a couple kills off. This Zealot is a good distraction. Oh, if Bisu can get the Reaver down one more time, he should be able to pick off these Hydralisks, which is what he's going to try and focus on. Oh, the kill off on the drones at the gas here too. So really well played, and he's just going to call it a day. He actually not just spent gas on getting Reaver tech, but he also spent gas on going for the shuttle speed. So really, really delays everything on the ground. And that's why he actually had that Reaver at the front, you know, trying to get it quickly to that shuttle and wants to be able to reinforce this army. Speed done, +1. And now this is pretty strong mid-game play that's coming out from Bisu. But Larva's got plenty of bases. He's on 4 bases, even with the drone losses that he suffered right there, and a few popped overlords. He's going to be able to remacro his Hydralisk pretty quickly here to engage into this army. Oh my god, though. 2 Reavers, it's so difficult to deal with. And without any links, that was a nice pickoff, though. Larva playing really well, be able to pick off that 1 Reaver, but this one's still alive. Bisu just hovering over it, knowing that he's got to keep 1 Reaver alive if he wants to, you know, win this game out right here. And it's looking, that's what he's going to be trying to do. Use that siege range on the Sunken, trying to get that down as quickly as possible. The Zealots aren't going to be able to get in range of the Sunken. This is absolutely critical for Larva to be able to get units in time. He's getting hits on the Reaver. He's getting hits. He's going to have to pick it up. Oh no, Bisu, he does lose the Reaver. The Hydra's coming from the behind, and Larva's actually going to be able to survive this. He hasn't lost anything critical, just stacked defenses, a few army units. Bisu now going for the throw here, trying to get some of the drones killed off here, but the Zealot's not going to be good enough. Larva playing a great game right now. Let's look at the hunting Corsairs that are heading across the map. Look at this, the re-macro still looking really strong for Larva. And let's bring ourselves back to where Larva sits here. He's doing really solid right now. You could not criticize him at this point in the game with how well he's playing. Bisu, he's got to be looking for a third now. It's going to be absolutely critical, trying to drop down that 1 pylon. And he's got the money for the Nexus, so he's going to go for Nexus first. But I would imagine a couple more cannons and another pylon going to be absolutely necessary. Oh, range upgrade going out next. This is what you need to see here. Bisu's got to drop a couple more gateways. He's still gateway light. I see 5 so far. You want to get up to about 7 gateways and then macro out Dragoons and get a 1 or 2 control groups worth of Dragoons. But Bisu sacrificing the Dragoon count to go Zealot High Templar, since he only has so much gas coming in from these 2 bases. Going for the High Templar tech first, or High Templar production first, is going to allow him to get that necessary energy to be able to combat the mid to late game Zerg play that Larva is going to be coming out with. Okay, so the Nexus down. Another cannon has been built here, but still this is defense light in my opinion. These Corsairs, they're going to be taking hits. Bisu, he's actually not responding really well. The auto attack brought over by this Overlord. I think that Larva was actually trying to troll those Corsairs over the attacks of the Hydralisk. Such a smart play going, well, if Bisu doesn't have these on hold position, they're going to fly right in and camp right on top of my Hydralisk. I might get a kill or 2. And that's what happened there. Bisu slow to react, losing 1 Corsair here. This shuttle looks empty. Oh my god, the DTs! I was so distracted. The DTs kill off the hatchery here, and they're just wrecking everything apart. So much damage. 7 here, 5 here, and even with the Overlord, the Hydralisk is going to be running away. This is dirty. Bisu throwing out every single bit of play that he can go for with this Templar Archives being completed. This is a really nice play from him. Larva finally getting his first setback in this game by losing that hatchery. He's going to need to get up to a 4th base. Bisu having this 3rd is going to make him really strong. But look at this. When we look around here, what are we seeing? There's not here and there's not here a gas. Oh, yes. So Bisu actually is going to need either a 4th here. He can expand down here, but it's relatively open. So he's going to need a gas base eventually. It's going to be very, very important. All right, Blind Roar coming into the chat. Welcome to the weekly Dagger number 6 Korean edition. And it is wonderful to have my mods join in the chat. And my coworkers were asking if Twitch chat trolls during my cast, but I said people actually care about watching the games and being entertained when they come to my cast, and so I really appreciate that you guys keep the trolling to the minimum. And Blind Roar doesn't have to do too much while he's here, but of course having the BisuDagger next to his name is very, very important. Yeah, if you didn't know, that's the BisuDagger logo right there. Okay, so it looks like Storms are going to be coming down. So Bisu, like I said, he went for Storms over Dragoons and was Dragoon light. He's going to have a lot of Storms built up here to go for a nice, powerful push down here towards the natural base if that's what he's going to want to go for here. Oh, Larva reacting very fast. He wants to put down as many creep colonies as possible, but no. We're watching here. Nope, oh, just Corsairs here. It looks like the entire army. Oh, I was trying to add in the suspense here. It looks like some creep colonies coming down, but the Reavers, double Reavers again coming through. Did he really get that kill? Oh my goodness. Oh, you were kidding me. Larva playing his ass off right now. Being able to get these Reaver kills has been absolutely important, but the onslaught of Zealots at the front, taking all the damage, picking off all these lurkers here, and the Dragoons coming in from behind. This is just going to be a terrible amount of damage here, and I don't know if Larva can hold on, despite the fact that he was able to take out at least one of the Reavers. This other Reaver going to be coming in, brought in by the shuttle, transporting it quickly over here. The drone's going to be going on for the distance. They're going to come down here to mine at the new hatchery that has been created down here at that main position. So much damage is being done, but Larva's going to have to come for a huge attack in the back. Look at all the Storms that are coming down. The Lurkers are going to have to get in range right now, going down, trying to get these spines out as quickly as possible here. And, oh, I love the damage that's coming out. Where is the Observer? There's got to be an Observer around here somewhere. It says 1 right here, but Larva's going to call it anyway. GG, Bisu wins. All right. Well, that's going to be it for game number 2. Bisu does defeat Larva. So we have last versus 0, where he wins there, tearing up 1. Bisu defeating 0. So Zerg's down 2-0 right now. They are unable to win, whether it's the PVZ or TVZ. That's just the bottom line. That's the way it is. Okay, so we're going to be going into game number 3 very shortly here. It's going to be Flash versus Best. And if Flash versus Best isn't just like an absolutely hour-long game, then we're going to be also going into Mind versus Shuttle, another PvT, to wrap up the entire day. But we'll be on Fighting Spirit next. Give me a short break, I promise you. We'll be going to the next game very, 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 very quickly. Just need some water and some hacking noises, and then we'll be able to go into the next match. So change to overlay, cue some music, and I'll be right back. All right. Game number 3, guys. Let's get it kicking. Flash versus Best. Anybody else hype? I am hype. Let's do this. All right. On our 4-player map, Fighting Spirit, we're going to have only 2 players. Of course, we're going to have some random Terran spawns, but let's figure this out. It's going to be, hold on one second, and just want to make sure everything is good to go. Okay. Now let's call it out. It's going to be Best at the top right here of the White Clan, as you can see, already at his 330 APM. And then it's going to be Flash, who is going to be down here at the bottom left, and it's going to be, yes, the Terran Hope in this PVT. Now, both Protoss and Terran have not lost today, so who is going to be taking their race to the next level? We shall see. I thank you all for watching again. I am BisuDagger, and of course, these replays come from Zero, and Zero has been giving these replays to Lamada. But if you guys want to donate towards any of these players, just let me know. Put their name in the PayPal, or, you know, Zero specifically, if you want to give him a few dollars, do that. But of course, if you want to donate towards the foreign scene too, you can do that. Come to my Tuesday show. I'll show you why the foreign scene is worth investing in. And then, of course, if you care about me and you want me to buy some donuts in the morning, then give me a few dollars too. That's it, though. That's the last time I'll try this money grubbing technique for donations, because honestly, I hate it. I've casted for 5 years, and I've done that entirely for free, and I don't intend to stop because donations don't occur. But I always like trying to get money for players, because those are the guys that actually invest hours. I come out here and I have fun watching what everybody else slaves over to entertain me with, so I have no problem giving other people money. I just throw my money at the StarCraft scene. I've actually given a lot of the Africa Star League money that I earned. I've given to Foreign Brood War tournament donations. So just a fun fact there. Actually, and I donated to KCM's sponsor deck, or whatever he did when he was trying to do a fundraiser, the crowd raising event. I donated $100 to that. That was from my ASL casting fund there too. Okay, so we're on topic now. We're gonna have the cybernetics core. Nothing new has changed here. The probe is gonna be going down. This is such a standard opening for PVT. If you don't know it, you just go gateway, core, and then from here you don't need another gateway. No, not if you're a good Protoss player like Best. So he's gonna sit on one gateway unless he wants to do something very aggressive, like getting a lot of Dragoons to pound out the front here. Meanwhile, we're seeing the command center with the barracks as a wall. And so when you see something like that, you might think, what's he trying to do to keep the scout out here? Why doesn't he want to let the probe in? But yeah, he's actually going to be going with his command center first. This is a super fast, hyper economical build here by going for this command center before he's building out the barracks and getting Marines. So yeah, Flash doing his typical 14cc play here. What a dirty SOB. And no, actually, Blindroar, who's asking, you've done all your casting for free? No, Africa has been paying me. What I've been saying is that I've actually put my Africa money that I've gotten in my PayPal account, and I've just gone ahead and put it back into, like, Korean gaming itself. Back when KCM was doing its fundraising earlier in the year, from the Advanced Star League. That's where I donated that money. I do have a little bit of Africa Star League money still sitting in my PayPal account from this past tournament. Yeah, Best used to be on SKT. And if you didn't hear, SKT, it might be disbanding from Pro League and StarCraft 2. And you know what that does? That means that there's money opening up for StarCraft 1 Pro League. And I'm really, really hoping that with maybe the addition of like a StarCraft HD or the improvements that Blizzard's going to be doing for StarCraft 1, that they're kind of working out a deal where it's possible that Brood War may become big again in Korea. Not like big as it is now, but like even bigger. Like super big, Super Bowl big, on the streets, running across the beach with your shirtlessness, fire bat hero level big. And that's what we want to see here. So range is done for these Dragoons. They're going to... PVT takes a while to set up, if you don't know, regardless of whether, and this is definitely a KT versus SKT matchup. That's a great thing to point out, guys. But PVT... even though Flash went for the 16cc or 14cc and he got the command center real fast and he's got a very economical build and that's going to give him the slight edge in the early game, everything is pretty standard so far, except for this gateway looks like it's late. So now without looking at the Protoss base yet, you would start to say, well, just by looking at the mini-map and all the timings here, maybe Best went for a robotics facility before he got his Nexus. Let's go look inside and see And did he do that? Did he go for the robotics facility? Yeah. So we see the robotics facility is there, but the Nexus actually just completing now. So it's kind of a 6-1 way, half dozen another. The Nexus finishing up, and nothing was really too far set behind. In fact, to catch up on this economical deficit that Best has so far, he's going to be building this Nexus here at the 3 o'clock location. And so he's going to be getting a faster third, which will allow him to, again, move his economy up even forward. Okay, so, yeah, this is awesome. Someone's saying classic here, and you just reminded me of StarCraft 2's classic. If you guys don't remember him, he was a Terran player in StarCraft 1, switched over to Protoss, and is having a pretty successful career in StarCraft 2. So I doubt that we will ever see him come back to StarCraft 1, unless he really just needs to chase, you know, the money over the game. I think that he should stick with the one that he's been very successful in. The Dragoons are running away. Why? It looks like Siege Tank has finished with Siege mode there, so Flash is going to be able to defend pretty easily. Looking inside of his base here, he's had constant mining from this gas, and he's got 3 factories that will be built very shortly here. And the +1 already on the way. I love that this is a pretty fast +1 timing. Constant mining from this refinery too. So he's getting the maximum amount of gas that he can out of this build. And he's actually going to probably have a strong mid-game timing here with the timing of these factories. But will Flash try and expand behind it too? That's what we're going to have to keep an eye on. It's such a different feel in PvT than it is in PvZ. Because in PvZ, as soon as the first units come out, there can be non-stop action, like we saw in the last game with Bisu versus Larva, where there was so much going on. And in ZVT, where like from the first barracks to the first marine, you're gonna have constant action. In this one, it's such a chess match. It's really kind of like a build-up to the hype, and you just gotta kind of keep tabs on what these players are doing and anticipate what is going to separate Best's build from Flash in this game. Oh, it looked like maybe that was an observer that flew in there and got picked off, but there's another observer here coming out at the front. Oh, this turret is about to finish up here too. There's no rules in this matchup right now. I mean, this isn't tournament rules, so he actually could have camped his observer on top of this turret, and the turret would have frozen and not been able to attack the observer, for those of you who don't know. Okay, so it looks like the observer is just kind of scouting out the third still here. Flash, you know, he could have taken the command center pretty quickly because Fighting Spirit is such an easy to take third base command center. I mean, it's absurd here. Meanwhile, it takes 4 pylons to actually properly block off harassing vultures that could be a complete nuisance in this game. Okay, guys, yeah, these are being casted from replays that have been given to me from Zero. These are current replays. These are not old replays. And so you're really seeing these games occurred on the 23rd of this month. So just 6 days old. Not too bad here. I do have replays from today. Lamada was able to provide me with those. And so we could have been casting more current ones. That's a command center up there, of course. And instead, we're going to be doing the older ones that I have because, you know what, 6 days old isn't too bad. Oh, I'd like that. He at least got 1 spider mine off. And there's an observer right around here too. Minesweeping is going to be absolutely integral at this point in the game, while the vultures are starting to run in their packs wild here and drop down as many Spider-Mans as they can at different locations. Look at the scout out! Look at this, the zealots and the probes. They can't land. There's not going to be a nexus here. Best, he might want to expand down to the bottom right. The Flash is going to have a base up here, the third coming up. These 2 supply depots are perfect here because you can run vultures down if you need to. And only zealots are going to be able to stream in. It's going to be really difficult for the mid-game Dragoon army to get up this ramp to do an attack. These Dragoons, they do come in here. They clean out this base. It's going to be nice for Best to be able to get this because getting up the 4 gas is going to be really, really important. Another attack upgrade on its way. I believe, wait, is that +1 or +2? That's going to be +1 that's finishing up. Important to note that here. And we do have the Stargate that is completed. Going to be that Observer, or no, the Arbiter tech, I imagine, coming in soon too. I'm not a big fan of this. I'm not a big fan of the tank. It does get 1 shot off, but it doesn't kill off any probes. 4 vultures, I think, would have been way more effective. They're chasing down here too. And that's just my opinion, is that tanks, unless they can find really good, hard to get to positions, they don't do too much damage. Excuse me there. I mean, wow, this Nexus took half shield damage, but where's the dropship to take that tank back? Flash really just not caring right now. It does delay these probes from getting back here. Kind of a hard position to get to. So I guess the delay in mining is what he was going for over the fact that probes get killed. But that's what he wanted to do here. So the Dragoons are looking for anything that they can pick off. Look at all this dark space around the map. So few Spider-Mans actually laid out. And so Flash has to get more proactive with his Vultures, which have been easily picked off by the Dragoon forces that are running around this map. I like this here. Flash building a bunker on the high ground. He knows that it's integral that he defends this ramp. If Protoss does finally break the ramp, they can do significant amounts of damage before the Terran player can come in here and reinforce at the low ground. We're seeing that the Nexus is finishing up with a few cannons here. So Best is actually up to 67 probes. Oh god, that is a lot of probes. Eventually he might want to just clear out some of those probes so he can free space for army, especially when he's trying to work towards that maxed army. Because you can sit comfortably at 60, but 67 is going to allow him to macro like crazy in the late game because he's going to be getting an economic advantage so quickly by having these additional probes. Getting up to 69 now, I think the sweet spot for Best is around 72. I would be surprised that if he got any higher than 71 or 72 inside of this game. Look aside, there's Spider-Mans over here. Vultures starting to spread out the vision again. This is what I was talking about. Flash needs to get another set of Vultures out here to regain this vision and have sights on this map. I like the turret already being built out at the front. It's a nice way to pick off an observer that's being lazily pushed across the map. And the tanks are going to have to start building their, getting siege mode out here. And maybe a possible building of a supply depot at this location too. Another base could be built down here at the low ground. But right now it's going to be this main base on the high ground. And it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases in total for Best, who's looking so sharp in this game so far. Where is the additional command center going to be built? I like this. Best actually managed to get Observer inside here, and he can see what kind of units are being macroed out of these factories. But Flash not identifying this as, it's not huge that Best knows what units are coming out, but it's just a really nice thing to check in and go, okay, I see another round of tanks. That's what he's putting his gas into. There's nothing crazy going on here. I don't see, sudden slew of Wraiths in this PvT, which, why would you build Wraiths ever in a PvT? And unless you are Jogby versus Stork and you get into some late game carrier play, then you build Wraiths in a PvT. I know that some of you are politically correct and want to throw that asterisk out there, don't you? This is a pretty nice play coming out from Flash right now. Getting his tanks up in here, the Vultures doing some nice damage. Trying to keep these tanks alive while they can lay out the fire. Oh, the Spider-Mans! No, man! They actually they pick off so many probes here. Best, what are you doing? But now he's down from 71 to 59 probes. He lost a considerable amount there, but still, this is why you overproduce probes, because you do stupid stuff like that as a Protoss player, and you're still absolutely fine in this game. So that's what we're seeing here. So much being spread out. Well, what is this? A preparation maybe to go down towards this lower base here. Where's the additional command center? So many SCVs mining from this natural base and from this main base, and over mining actually right now. Look at the SCV count up to 70 for only 3 bases. This is actually really, really bad. And Flash actually needs to get that under control. The fact that he doesn't have a 4th base at this time is going to be setting him back pretty far here. The Arbiter has over 150 energy here, so there's the potential for the recall over stasis if that's going to happen in this game. So let's keep a watch as the Arbiter tries to find the sweet spot in here. It's going to be running into too many turrets. I'd be surprised if the recall goes down. He completes it. He doesn't have the defense of the Arbiter. He's not going to be cloaked here, but he does get on the high ground. Are you kidding me? The Dragoon's going to be getting a lot of damage off here, picking off what SCVs as they can. This is what I was talking about. The tanks can only defend on the high ground. Once Protoss takes the high ground here, it's going to be really difficult for Terran to get any significant defense here up on the high ground as they slowly filter their way in. I like this though. I think a lot of Zealots died off. I think that this actually was a really nice bunker here. The Marines getting a lot of nice DPS on those pretty squishy Zealots, I would say, at this time in the game here. And so Flash does get the defense. He's down to 68 SCVs, so he really only lost 2, considering that entire fiasco here. Arbiter was lost, though. What is best to do? He was maxed out, and he wanted to go for an attempt at a harass, and Flash dealt with it fine. this wasn't a loss for Best because he is able to remacro so quickly. He's sitting at 190 supply already again. He's building a decent amount of gateways over here. He's getting a base down at the bottom right. And Flash, he's slowly getting his way pincered in. Without a fourth base, without that fourth gas, Best is just winning by default at this point in the game. But Flash, he's going to be pushing out with 2-3 upgrades. Are you kidding me? This is such a strong mech force here. So max mech off 3 bases. And this is why Terran players win so often on Fighting Spirit. Because even with these 3 bases, you get that gas so early on that you get the third gas so early on that you're able to get like 2-3 upgrades and maxed out armies to push out and just threaten against the Protoss force here. But what Flash doesn't know is that there is this base down at the bottom right that's getting more gateways, that's going to be getting probes, it's going to be having the mining. So not only did he map split to the top left, but he's map splitting to the bottom right. And that's going to be really difficult for Flash to deal with, even if he does have a great, huge army pushing across this map here. Storms are going down! A stasis over here to the side hustle too. These storms are actually really good. I love to see storms in a PvT. So hard to play though. He's got to get in range and wow. Absolutely decimated here. 50 supply lost. A ton of tanks killed off. Up to 20 tanks now. And you know what? Best can get that army back so quickly. 169, 70. His supply just growing in huge troves right now. Meanwhile, Flash is going to try and continue this push forward with 2-3. It doesn't matter if he lost tanks. He's going to still be able to move forward with his forces across the map here. All right. Looking at the north side of this map. And it's going to be a bust to try and take down this third base location from the main left. And I hope that made sense to any of you. Here come the Zell Bombs! Here come the Zell Bombs! And most of the tanks are actually just in A-move mode, so the Zell Bomb's not going to be too effective here. Dragoons being killed off on the high ground. Vultures defending from the right, so no flanks are coming out. This is not a great position for Best, who is not able to take out this trove of tanks that are just threatening over here. So many spider mines are just kind of defending Flash's bases, so no opportunity for backstab here. There's a decent amount of arbiters out here. 4 arbiters just getting their energy, but they need the energy built up. Meanwhile, oh, so close, 15 energy away, and then an EMP can go down and just completely mitigate these arbiters one more time. The tank splits is great here. Or I guess actually they're all still in a group here. I thought maybe a few were left over at that eliminated base. But Best is going to slowly lose this base at the top left. Oh, he does a recall down at the bottom. Look at the 6 o'clock base here. So he gets the recall off. Dragoons are killing off these SCVs. Flash, who knows he needs to have this 4th base, is actually putting himself in a really bad spot again by losing this base if he can't defend it well. This tank is going to go down, but so slowly. The +2 tank, the +2 armor on this tank is so good right now. Meanwhile, Best, he only has +2, doesn't have any shields or armor on his gateway units either. So they're actually just so squishy against this mech force, which is going to be threatening up here at the left. These tanks are just killing off everything. Oh my god. Doing lots of damage here. And what are these arbiters to do? They're not going in for an attack. They're heading back home towards this natural area where he's getting ready to build up his next level of defense here. So up to 4 arbiters still. I believe he did lose the one over here, so he was able to get one fresh one, which means it's low on energy to come out from his main base here. And we can see that Best is just map splitting over to the right purely here because he's not going to be able to keep this alive any longer. These poor probes just trying to get as many minerals to this Protoss economy as they can. Flash, though, he's got a lot of units moving out here. Vultures primarily right now out at the front forces to attack over to this right side of the base. More units coming in here. A stasis actually comes down. I'm not okay with that stasis. I would have loved to see the stasis here on the ramp to be able to block units from being able to come up and defend here. But it looks like Best is just trying to pour all his units in to eliminate this base one more time. If he can take out this command center, it'd be a huge setback for Flash. But Flash has 194 supply. Once again, he's maxed out. And this is absolutely an astonishing army and a great display of macro play from Flash, who is, well, as we know, one of the greatest Terran players of all time. Oh, so little forces here. The Dragoons not very strong here. Look at the north. Look at the north. We need to watch these Zealots come in here, dragging the spider mines. If only they could get some more drags in here. But not doing too well. GG! GG from Best. He has all the bases, but he has the loss too. And it looks like Terran will take 2-0 lead in the race matchups. Flash going to be able to win the game today. What a game. What a game indeed. Oh, man. I don't know what else there is to say. Best didn't do anything to slow down the fact that Flash got up to 2-3. Are you kidding me? That's just too strong of an army. And he didn't have Arbiters out quick enough. The Storms were good, but then he lost all the High Templar as the Storms went off. So then he couldn't do anything else there either. It's just one of those really frustrating things. If you try and think from the Protoss perspective, once Flash got himself into that position, what are you to do? And that's where you have to go. I needed to be proactive in different aspects of this game to prevent Flash from so easily getting to 2-3, which is why you will see often a lot of Protoss players put a lot of pressure onto this third base here, because this is so integral. If Flash lost this third or had this third delayed, then it would slow down his timings, because he wouldn't have that additional gas to get to the number of tanks, to 20 to 30 tanks that he did have in that game. What do you think, guys? Do we go to game number 4? We have one more. It's going to be Mind versus Shuttle. I think we owe it to, Eyewater. I think we owe it to Eyewater to watch his game. I think the hype is here. We've got a lot of viewers in here. I don't want you guys to disappear when you're all excited and you're watching StarCraft. So let me click a button here, and if this button changes the names appropriately, we'll go. Yeah, it does. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and go into game number 4. I'm not even going to take a break. You're just going to have to listen to my hacking and water break as we go ahead and prepare for this next one. Weekly number 6. Let's get this going. Mind versus Eyewater on Circuit Breaker. And let's go ahead and call out these positions here. That's a floating away command center. I believe this one is a defunct one too. Which means that we're going to have Mind, our Terran player, at the top right. And we're going to have Eyewater down here at the bottom left. Look at this. Another representative of the White Clan. Very important. These White Clan members have each other's back. Excuse me. We're going to have a revenge kill from Eyewater if he can win here. And Best is actually going to be observing this game, trying to support his teammate. Okay. I'm good. That's enough drinking water in your ears. I'm sure you guys have had enough of that here too. Thank you guys. I will be back here every Thursday for Korean StarCraft replays, exclusive ones that I'm getting from Lamada, from Zero, and it is really cool to be able to have these. This is something that the English casting community really hasn't had, is access to these replays. And in fact, I believe I've been working with Cele to make these available through Icy Cup also, for anybody who wants to get their own hands on and get a good sneak peek of these replays. So go ahead and check out the Icy Cup replay section and see if any of these pop up. My cast should be there too if those have been made available at this time. So getting that stuff out of the way. Anybody who's come in, I am BisuDagger. I welcome you to game number 4. This is going to be another PvT here on Circuit Breaker, the new standard map. And look at this. Look at this. So this is a gas. This is gas before Cybernetics Core. And that's something where you start to throw that red flag right away. This is a deviation from the standard PvT. Is getting this gas first. And in my opinion, the gas first would typically mean that you could be seeing a Citadel of a Dune, and then the Templar Archives, maybe DT build, over going for the robotics facility first and getting the observers out. And yeah, anybody who's in the chat right now, please, an interview with Eyewater. It is the coolest thing. And this is why we call Shuttle Eyewater now, because he actually specifically requested it. And let's be a cool community and listen and respect what the Korean players say. So, yeah, if you want to focus on the Protoss, thank you. Yeah, someone's a Protoss fan. I sense the sarcasm, though. Let's go back into the Terran base here and identify what Terran player is doing, too. I do like to talk about both. In fact, I need to pay attention to Terran and Zerg better than Protoss. Because it's so easy for me to talk about Protoss builds, considering I know them pretty well here. But this is looking more standard for a Terran player here. The barracks and not a fast command center, and in fact it's going to be looking like a siege expand or a fake double, which are both very, very similar. It just comes down to the gas being pulled. Actually, I would say that this is a fake double now because the other two SCVs have been pulled, and you only have one SCV mining at the refinery. If you want to go to Liquipedia and learn more about that build, I encourage you guys to. Meanwhile, there's a lot of gas that's been mined here, but the cybernetics core is spinning. So with the range upgrade, it makes me think that we're actually not going to be seeing any cheesy Dark Templar build, and we're going to see some early on Dragoons here. And that's pretty much what's going to be it. The second gateway dropping down after Nexus is pretty standard, and you can also keep an eye out for the robotics facility to follow afterward too. The SCV coming in here, it's going to get in, it's going to get all the intel. Look at this, getting in, looking for a Citadel, looking for a Templar Archives, looking for a Robo. What are you up to, Eyewater? That's exactly what Mind is thinking here, trying to just peer into that brain of his. That finals championship ASL winner brain of his. God, Eyewater played so well in that tournament. What a joy it was to watch. Meanwhile, we got the barracks already out floating out here. Spider-Mines first. Spider-Mines. Are you guys seeing this? So the command center is almost done here. It's going to be floating over, and instead of a siege expand, it's going to be fast Vulture Spider-Mine play. Do you know why he did this? Do you know why Mind went for this? Is because he saw that there was a slow robo, that observers aren't going to be out yet, and so if he goes for Spider-Mine tech over going for siege tech first, then that's going to allow him to actually get some early harassment done. But the problem is he is going to have to deal with ranged Dragoons, and the micro is going to have to be really good by Eyewater at this point in the game. He's going to have to bounce and dilly-dally around these Spider-Mines if he wants to eliminate them or not lose his Dragoons. Meanwhile, it looks like a speed movement here. Oh, the Spider-Man does get taken out. Real nice kill. Kill one for that Dragoon. Starting to feel real good. The Vulture going to be getting knocked back here. Meanwhile, Vulture coming in from the right side here. Coming in from the south flank. It will be on its way over to Eyewater's base. This is still very good for Eyewater so far. He's got a couple Dragoons out. The siege tank's not going to be too far behind, let's be honest. The tank already on its way. I wouldn't be surprised if by now siege mode has been completed. I love that the machine shop upgrades. Okay, siege is actually just on its way. But I love how fast these upgrades move. Look at this. I mean, you could fall asleep and wake up, and an Arbiter upgrade would be finished. But in this, the machine shop researches very quickly here, so you don't ever have to feel like completely committed to one style just because you went for Spider-Mines over the siege upgrade. This was really well defended here. So Eyewater put these two pylons here because he knew that he could easily block vultures coming in with the Dragoons that he did have, and so he was able to bring the rest of his Dragoons out on the map. Oh, a great kill there for Mind, who had a nice little sneaky Spider-Man there. There's another one over here, and these are just typical pathways that the Dragoons will just dance around to try and check in on the Terran player and see what's going out on the map. So easy kills for the Terran player if the Protoss player isn't playing sharply, isn't able to just click over in time to focus on the Spider-Man as it runs into its unit. Okay, a third command center finishes up, and this is a key thing about Circuit Breaker, is that the third command center is relatively weak compared to the fourth command center. And I'm not talking about like the open space. I'm talking about the fact that the fourth command center is the most integral base on this map for a Terran player. They need to have a third gas. Without the third gas, they're going to be in a lot of trouble when it comes to the mid and late game play. That's why Fighting Spirit was so great for Flash in that matchup, because he had 3 gases. He was able to get exactly what he wanted. But now we're going to see that a Terran player is going to have to settle for only minerals, which means that what do you get? Faster vultures? That's not important. We want to have the gas as a Terran player. So it looks like the expansion probably going to come out here down to the 6 o'clock location. Meanwhile, the mineral only is going to be taken up with the Nexus very shortly here for Eyewater. Both these players, Eyewater and Mind, going to be matching the cells and bases so far, and that's all right. That's alright, because eventually the Protoss economy will explode, and then another Nexus, and then another are just going to start to add themselves on. A relatively passive early to mid game that we're seeing from these two players right now. The Vultures are not out on the map. They're just staying at home. But finally, Mind is like, okay, I've got my base. I can send out units. I can weaken my defenses at the third to be able to search and destroy whatever I can. The Spider-Man place is going to allow him to get some nice proper vision out on this map. Meanwhile, another command center. A fast forward to get to that gas. I love it. Mine is playing with the winner's mentality here of, I know I need this Vespene Geyser. I'm not getting attacked. It's cross spawns, and that's going to be really, really great for me in this situation. So cross spawns are absolutely great advantage for a Terran player. Meanwhile, this is huge too. Even with the pylons here, Zealots are actually going to have to get carried over with this shuttle here. Going to drop down, or at least chase away these Vultures. Mine going to be able to get them away. And Eyewater putting himself in a great position to defend right there. And not losing too many probes. Yeah, these pylons are in a perfect spot for the Vultures not to get in. But even from here, you can hit all of these probes and get a couple worker kills. Meanwhile, shutting down the ability to expand down here at this gas base. Eyewater's going to be in some trouble here, knowing that he's going to need that gas eventually. But he's taking his good force here. He's got 13 Dragoons and 4 Zealots. Let's see how strong that is compared to 6 Siege Tanks and 7 Vultures. 3 Siege Tanks with the defense of these supply depots at the front here. It's going to be making it so difficult for the Protoss army, even fighting from the high ground, to be able to break down in there, especially since Eyewater's forces are pretty small at this point. This is where the Zealot drops are going to come in. He's going to be wanting to look for where those key siege tank fire locations are so he can drop them on them and hopefully get some friendly fire kills, because we all love watching friendly fire kills regardless of what race. I mean, when you watch mutas fly over probes and then a Protoss player storms the mutas and then kills off all their probes, that's one of the most comical things I've ever seen in a pro game. And you're like, seriously, bro? Just make an Archon. But they got to hold on to their storms regardless of how many probes they lose. It's an honor thing at that point. Okay, so the rambling is real, and these Vultures too. And the Vultures trying to dodge down to the bottom right, maybe to pick off another unit here. But it looks like with the pylons trying to get themselves a good position. I love it. The probe hide over here is just brilliant to keep it alive. The Nexus is almost finished up, and these Dragoons are going to be able to finally finish off these Vultures here and take very little damage from the Spider Mines that were laid out. So great job. Actually, now with this probe alive, every probe counts at 66, right? So quite a bit of workers that are already completed out here. And so, someone talking about StarCraft 2, ask your questions if you want. I don't know if you heard though, but StarCraft 2, it looks like with the latest rumors that Pro League has been canceled and that KT and SKT are no longer going to be sponsoring teams. If that's the truth, then KT, who just sponsored the Africa Star League, may actually sponsor a StarCraft 1 team also. So it looks like the KT transfer from StarCraft 2 to StarCraft 1 is a huge possibility. I just thought that you guys might want to know that if you missed it from earlier in my cast, as I was telling you about the latest news and StarCraft of Korea. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's establish these Vulture positions doing pretty good. The Siege Tanks moving out here, but a decent amount of Goliaths. Why are there Goliaths? Are there Arbiters or Carriers? Arbiters or Carriers? Oh, Carriers! Okay, so, oh, you guys, you're so silly. So Carriers coming out. From the Stargates here, 2 Stargates, so powerful. We know that Eyewater is actually pretty good with his carriers, although I think, did he lose a few carrier games to last? It's possible here. He's getting another expansion, but you know what? With this mineral only earlier here, he's just got a plethora of minerals, but not enough gas to really play a strong Arbiter game, which is why he's going to be going for the carriers in this situation. He's got 2 more queued up. I mean, this is ambitious. This is hungry. He's ready to go for this. But you know what? Mind has anticipated it. He's got so many Goliaths, +1 already done. Let's go look here. Because he doesn't have machine shops, he can only build Goliaths or Vultures out of here, but that's no big deal because he's only going to be needing the anti-air unit of these Goliaths moving outward forward here. So this is just an awesome mix for him as he tries to push forward and identify where the Protoss army is going to be migrating to, which looks like over down here to the bottom right. What is this? Okay, so 3 cannons going to be defending this Nexus, and I'm just surprised that I'm sorry, not Shuttle, Eyewater has decided to expand down towards that mineral-only base instead of taking the main base down all the way at the bottom right to be able to get the gas and the high ground advantage here. But I guess he wants to have the smallest area possible to defend with his carriers, because carriers are really slow. He's going to need to have his gateway army to help, aid them. And he's going to have to defend his bases when counterattacks occur. And where the carrier is going to need to be? Close by. So I think that's why he's going for this base, which they are very highly dependent on also the mineral-sucking interceptors that are being created inside of these capital ship units. Okay, let's look. There's no attack coming in for the carriers. I was wondering if +1 research was going to occur here, but no, +1 attack has not occurred yet. Okay, the drops are going to come in. Oh, where are there any zealots in here? There's no more zealots. The zealots are just going to be coming to run from the front here, but doing a lot of damage on these tanks. That looks like the primary focus with these carriers too. So Eyewater doing a great job of being able to eliminate the mech ground forces here, as the Dragoons are going to be able to push forward here too, killing off a lot of Goliaths. This is great damage from the Protoss force here. But look at that. Look how much yellow has been left over. And there's going to be quite a few tanks and Goliaths. Well, actually, no. These are just spider mines here. So it's going to come down to re-macro. And, these tanks aren't going to do anything against these carriers here. Let's look inside this base. How many more carriers are coming out? I believe 2 more have to be being brought over at some point here. A total of 5 carriers in this game right now. Looking pretty strong. I really think that if it comes down to it, that Eyewater really won that engagement. He stalled Mind out really heavily here, but Mind, he's actually almost getting a Nexus kill with these Vultures, which is really rare because the damage output against buildings is so low for Vultures. I love that he started to build turrets in this base though. That's like the ultimate troll. Hey, I'm going to just try and get a couple extra shots here on your carriers. And maybe if you don't pay attention, they'll hit the actual hull of the carrier instead of just the interceptors that are running around. But no, the interceptors that move out just like the little spaceships do in Independence Day. Does anybody ever feel like Independence Day stole their interceptors from StarCraft? It's definitely a possibility. One is older than the other. So this base here has been taken down at the 3 o'clock position. So that's 1 gas. That's 2 gas here at the 12 o'clock position to be taken. So we're seeing that Mind is at the is at 4 gases already. So with 4 gases, he's going to have a great late game army here, and it's going to be really tough for Eyewater to deal with, who only has 2 Stargates, and he's not actually producing any more carriers here. So maybe he's trying to transition. Yes, he is. He's trying to transition into High Templar. So it's going to be another strong ground gateway army that's going to be mixed in with supplemented by carriers, not primarily supported. Primarily carriers with ground support. It's going to be the other way around here. A nice group of probes gunning over to the right side, where we know clearly. Oh, look at this. Look how low it got on health. I wonder if like a little dropship could clear that out. In the mid-game, or the middle of the map army here, moving out across. It looks like we're going to see another huge engagement. There's no tanks with this army, except for in the back here. And we're going to see the Goliaths are trying to retreat to the army. So much damage can be done if the High Templars can get some storms off. Oh, good little set of storms there going off on the Goliaths that are going to take full damage from the lightning. Okay, it looks like more High Templar are going to be coming into this army, but these the tanks aren't getting hit, and this is why you want Arbiters in a late game PvT, because you want to be able to stasis lock them down and move in with your strong army here. But Eyewater, he's going to be bouncing back, going to just be continuing this map split scenario, getting an additional Nexus up here at the right side of the map, sitting around the 4 o'clock position, and it's going to be good for him, who's going to need that extra gas and mineral supplement here. Mind, being so bold right now, is going to be pushing his entire army down towards possibly 6 o'clock location. But if he loses that position, he's going to weaken this area right here on the map, which opens up an opportunity to go across the bridge and stop resupplying from the Terran factories here. But right now, so many Goliaths still continue to go forward. 2-2 upgrades have been completed. Still no upgrades for the interceptors here. but the High Templar are actually getting pretty close to 2 storms per High Templar in this army. Oh, this is going to be pretty quick pickoffs with these interceptors. I like the positioning of the carriers moving in here, but the Goliaths are coming in from the high ground too. They've got a good advantage with their sight range and their range attack upgrade to be able to hit on top of these carriers. I'm getting the death stare from my dogs just to add that in there right now. But we're just going to have to ignore them right now as I am running late into this cast. Who cares? This is an awesome PvT that we are witnessing from Mind, who is pushing forward and applying so much pressure, not really worrying about these carriers because of how many units he has at this point in the game. Yeah, 8 High Templar. If you guys missed the foreign replay of Eon Zerg versus Arc Neon from Tuesday, there were 28 High Templar. 28 High Templar that were built in that game against Eon Zerg. So a must-see. Please go watch that VOD. And there were Arbiters and Guardians. I cannot stress enough that Tuesday's YouTube video, it was so good. You can watch it also on Twitch if you want to just go to my highlights. I don't recommend watching the second game because it was a bugged replay. So you'll feel like you probably wasted a good 25 to 30 minutes of your life before you realize that the replay was bugged. The YouTube video has been edited so to only show the replay that was fully functioning and working here. So I digress again. This base has been taken out. Let's establish that, but that's okay. This base still exists here. The Nexus has been taken out here at the mineral only, but these 2 cannons, how strong are they? They're not stacked cannons. Turn out the lights, stack the cannons on, and please. Well, Iwater not going to be doing that. He's actually going to be expanding over here to the left side. Looks like he's got a pretty solid location of this base here. Meanwhile, Mine's got an expansion up to the top left. This is out of control. This is a slow death animation that we're watching from Iwater here, who's unable to slow the onslaught of the Terran army. +3 attack. Oh boy, this is getting crazy for this mech army. Storm's got to occur here. Can he storm up on the high ground to kill off these units? If he can hold on to this, nope, the Nexus is actually down. I was going to say if he can hold on to the Nexus somehow, then this would be a great win for him. In fact, he's not doing anything with these probes, which can be moved in to attack. I'm always looking for the most optimal thing a player could be doing in the game here. Oh, he survives though. He survives. Now finally he's using his probes to kill off this Goliath. Okay, quick moves by Mind, though. He's already lost his army down at the bottom right. Doesn't care. Got all the base eliminations that he needed to. He knows that there's another base here at the low ground at this 9 o'clock position. He's going to threaten it with a few tanks. Probably just 2 or 3 is going to be enough. But look at that. He's bringing a whole platoon of tanks to hit from the high ground here. And so much damage is going to get done. Look how quickly these cannons go down, too. I mean, taking absolutely, like, little damage from this from the cannon defense. You know, these carriers have got to be feeling worthless. Up to 8 carriers now. So many Goliaths being built out. The economy is just completely crazy and out of control for Mind. I don't see how Iwater can win this. While he's the reigning ASL champion, I just don't think that he's got the mojo and the power to win this particular game here. This is one of the few Terran players he actually didn't have to play in that tournament. He did play last, and he did play sharp and defeated both of those, but he did not play against Mind, who got eliminated in the group stages against Flash, Last, and C. What a group that was. Actually, no, Mind wasn't in that group, was he? Because Zero was in that group. Or was it Flash? Well, whatever. You guys will correct me in the chat here. Anyway, Mind just didn't play really well in the ASL tournament. I'm rather disappointed because he's kind of been on a downhill spiral since the Kongu Stars League over a year ago in January. Okay, guys who's just coming in, we're getting pretty close to the end of Mind versus Iwater here. Iwater, aka Shuttle. And we're gonna see that that the Protoss doesn't really have bases. There's no more mining that can occur except for gas, I guess. Gas income, and Nexus is going to be coming up here. And so this is going to be an all-in force right here for Iwater, who's just trying to take out as many bases as he can. But with this base up and running pretty strong here, well, I guess I say pretty strong, but obviously he can bring some more SCVs over to mine at that location. It just seems that Iwater is going to be in a good situation. The Zealots do run up here to try and pick off the units that they can. The +3 attack is just insane. These Zealots die so quickly. they just melt. It's like, you know, it's like putting tinfoil in a microwave. It's just a horrific scene, and it never ends well. Okay, so these Goliaths are going to be able to take out this Nexus here too. The natural does go down. Oh boy, what are we seeing here, guys? Just the slowest death animation you could possibly think of. All the forces coming up here, though. Eyewater knows that if he can eliminate this base, that there's really only one strong economy base that's remaining. You can see that there's a few minerals here that do remain. Another command center immediately coming up. And the slow mobility. Oh, look at the storms! The storms trying to kill off everything as they run up here. The scan goes down. The DT not able to hold off this base. And so Shuttle, unless he, Eyewater, unless he can get one more effective storm off on these clumped up units here, it looks like this is just going to be the end of this base. Way too strong. He does kill off this base here at the top left. And I guess the power of carriers continue to be strong here. 7 carriers, though. Looks like he did lose one of his critical carriers. And the Terran forces are inside of this main base down at the bottom left. Not much left. Not much left for Eyewater, who actually might lose due to building elimination. He is literally that close that while he moves out here and he's trying to take out just this slew of turrets, he may actually have all his buildings killed off before he GG's. That would be hilarious. Alright, someone asking about 424. You guys are wanting the Jadon replay analysis. I might be able to obtain one of those. We'll see. Maybe Lamada can get in contact with 424 so we can watch one of his replays in this game. Okay. So the carriers, still 7 carriers still alive here. The Dragoon count's getting pretty low. You know, if he loses those Dragoons, that's pretty important here because they've been just kind of meat shielding on the ground pretty effectively here. The micro is not that great. I hate to see that there's this damage going off on this carrier here. What is wrong with Mind, though? He's got 180 supply, and he's just not crushing this. Eyewater's down to 68. He's supply blocked. He's losing his buildings like crazy. There's a lot of tanks here, and Goliath's down at the bottom left. And this carrier micro, I guess it is phenomenal because he still has 6 carriers remaining. Down from 8. He's lost 2. Isn't getting him back. And GG! GG, that's it. That's going to be it. Alright, guys. Well, that's going to be the end of game number 4. Thank you so much for watching the weekly number 6. Today's was a 2-hour cast. And you know what? I love extending my cast beyond my regular hour if I can, just because I love entertaining you guys with every cast that's possible. So that's going to be it. Thank you again. Watch my VODs on YouTube or on Twitch. If you've missed any of them, please spread the word. I'll be back here next Tuesday for foreign replays. And I believe that the Crispy Cup will be giving me a couple fresh replays from the foreign pool scene. And then we have plenty of top pro replays for next week. Bisu, Flash, Zero, Last. We have all of the top players available to you. I think Effort might be in the next slew of replays too. So, yeah, stay tuned for those next week on Thursday in the Korean edition of Weekly Dagger number 7. That's going to be it. I'm going to cue some music, drink some water, say goodnight, and take care, everybody.